Hi guys, gonna keep it short and sweet. Looking out for something today happening to Donald Trump or some major announcement in connection to Donald Trump. Um, in the news, we have this information about 3D guns. The instructions for them is going to be available online from midnight tonight, downloadable to enable people to print their own guns. Interesting timing for that, but at the same time, you've got President Trump. He's going to Florida. Tampa is going to visit the Tampa Bay Technical High School. His rally starts at 7 p.m. He'll be holding a roundtable discussion, which is scheduled for 5:50 p.m. So an hour and 10 minutes before his actual rally is due to start. Looking at the map of where this place is, it's surrounded by 77th Street or North 77th Street. Combining that with the 7 p.m. rally start, you've got a reference to 777 there. Obviously, may have biblical significance, but in this interpretation, I believe that would be a manipulation of biblical references. So, in the iPad Goat video, at this particular frame, it stood out to me today, in particular because of the 3D guns in the news, that at this point, when George Bush, who may represent Donald Trump, is spinning around in the chair, he's got the 3, the D, and the gun, which is more of a hidden image on the board, all in kind of sequence there, 3D gun. I don't know if anything's going to happen to Donald Trump. As I've said before, this is what the video appears to depict, and other media references. A lot of how shall I put it? A lot of different interpretations as to whether Donald Trump has a twin, or a person who's impersonating him at some times, or could impersonate him at a certain time. There's various different things that could happen. Whether they do happen, that is something that remains to be seen. Obviously, I can't see the future. I can only look at what I think may be a video which depicts future events planned by people who are in power to do it. So that's kind of why these videos are being made. We don't really get fun out of them. I kind of think it's a bit serious, and obviously the fact that it's a cartoon automatically makes a lot of people not take it seriously, which I think is the idea. So they have done a lot of subliminal messaging through cartoons just because of the fact that people don't take cartoons seriously. Look at The Simpsons and the 9/11 reference. So, untraceable, undetectable, and unstoppable. President Trump in Florida, the place where the school shooting took place on February the 14th. Obviously, at that time, I thought it was going to be Donald Trump, and it was going to be done by a person with the name Jesus. It wasn't Donald Trump, but it was done by a person with the name Jesus in his name. I feel like because he's visiting a school, and we have the George Bush character who may represent Donald Trump in a classroom setting, that may be significant. If today is, something dodgy gonna happen. That sentence didn't make sense, but I struggled for the words there. So yeah, 3D gun. For the people who haven't seen the hidden images on the chalkboard, this is it. They stand out quite clearly when you adjust the contrast in, but on the actual video, those same images almost disappear. I mean, once you've seen them, you can make out the outlines of what you've already seen, but it's clear that they didn't intend for it to be automatically visible. They only gave you a suggestion that something was there by drawing it, erasing it, and leaving these kind of white chalk marks that you get when you erase something on a chalkboard, and that's it. So looking out for anything happening today in relation to Donald Trump, possibly associated with 3D guns. As I said, the plans go online tonight, but they were available before tonight. They were stopped by the Justice Department, who sent a cease and desist letter to the people who put those plans online. They complied with the cease and desist letter, but the plans had been downloaded over 1 million times already by that time. So clearly the instructions for building these things are out there, the equipment for building these things are out there, and you know, considering everything that's coming to light politically associated with the Trump administration, it looks like a lot of people are kind of flipping against him, if you want to put it that way. I think that's all I wanted to really bring to you guys, apart from the potential storytelling of the George Bush character here. So, just very quickly, the show begins, the lights go up, and we start getting the George Bush character kind of talking to the children that are sitting in the classroom, but that would be a reference to us. The show is directed towards us. Now there's a bit of worry about something. I don't know what that kind of worried expression was really in reference to, but that's kind of what it looked like. Obviously we've got different hand symbols there, swear words and stuff like that. But it's really at this point I think the story kind of takes on the part where Donald Trump may get shot in the back of the head. This kind of reference to impact in the back of the head, knocking forward, eyes going blank, then it going kind of crazy. The way he holds his hands is not just the Baphomet horns, but it's the same shape as a gun in that way. So obviously the little finger, if you try to hold your hand the way George Bush is holding his hand, I don't recommend you do it, but the little finger can't extend down that far. So obviously that is overextended, which could be possible in a double jointed person. I don't know if George Bush or Donald Trump is double jointed. That may not be significant, but the clear reference here to me, there's obviously the Baphomet horns. There could be the letter F in there if you wanted to look at it that way, but you know, obviously also a gun shape there, and that's also shown kind of just after he's knocked his head forward, which could symbolize a shot to the back of the head or something, a knock to the back of the head, let's put it that way. Then he's pointing to Florida, the ocean, the house, the submarine, and then it's kind of like some sort of circular motion, hurricane or whirlpool. Arms go up. I'm interpreting that as an underwater explosion. His hands moving towards the coast is the wave of the tsunami moving across, and then he does this look up and over, which is, to me, a missile. Whether that's an SLBM or an ICBM, I really don't know. And then Obama comes into play, and we see the other events that have been interpreted. But I think that quick little display from the George Bush character there kind of gave you a reference to a sequence of events: a shot, a tsunami, a missile. You guys, I don't know if this is going to happen, but it's 9:13 in the evening over here in the UK, which means it's 4:13 Eastern time, which means in just under 2 hours Donald Trump will be at the Tampa Bay Technical School for a round table discussion. Again, that round table discussion reference could interpret here. What is the head wound 31st? I don't know. These are just my interpretations. I'll just bring them to you. They're my thoughts. Basically just put into a video. So you guys, I'm going to end it there. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.